Okay, so I'm going to show you another way of mixing two images together, and we won't be doing this in latent space. It'll be outside of the K-sampler, so we can actually get much higher resolution. So you can see that on the bird here. Okay, so we'll be using what's called the image composite masked. So grab this workflow. Okay, it's just like a basic workflow, version 1.5. That's the prompt, Aquilegia and hummingbird. Aquilegia is a plant that hummingbirds like. Okay, latent image 512, 512, just creating random seeds. If you just run that, you get the image. That's the same on the documentation there. So anyway, I want to get this image here, which is a much higher resolution image, and overlay that on that Aquilegia background. So if you click it, you'll get the higher resolution version of this image. So right click and press copy, and then in here, just find a blank space, Control V to paste. Okay, so I'm just going to place that down there and resize the window a bit. And you can see the dimensions are 3082 by 2031, whereas the one coming out of SD 1.5 is the 512, 512. With SD 1.5, you can't really generate images larger than 768 by 768 because you start to get strange duplicates, and it's not very good at keeping context across the full width and height. So 512, 512 is really the best dimensions for SD 1.5, but we can still generate a background, do some effects with it, and then put something like this, which is much higher res over top of it. Okay, so also we could just generate the whole image using SD 1.5, but the quality of the hummingbird isn't actually that good. So I'm going to use the image composite masked to overlay this hummingbird image over top. Okay, so out here, double click, type in the word composite, and there you get image composite masked. Okay, so wants a destination and source, which for me doesn't make a lot of sense, but get the image here that is being decoded out of the K-sampler, and you put that into source like that. This load image, we put that image into destination, and we put the mask into mask. And then with the image here, we can save an image. Now with this one, this is a save image as well, so it may not be necessary for you to save this image plus this image all the time. So I'm just going to delete that one and just use a preview. So there's a preview. So let's just see what we have now, run that. Okay, that goes there. It's just another generation. But since we haven't edited the mask, this is just going directly over top. So let's edit the mask on this and just cut the background out. So right click, mask editor, and use the picker again. So just go around and pick out a lot of the background like so. Okay, so that chopped off a bit of the wing, so I'm just going to press Control Z and go further around. Okay, that's good, and that's pretty good as well. There are a lot of dots around, and I'll use the other tool to get rid of that as well. So that tool, let's just make it a bit larger. So there's still a lot of what looks like dust. You probably can't see it on the video stream, but I can. Okay, a few more bits over there. Now let's just clean this up. Okay, very good. Let's zoom out. There we go. Very good. Okay, so I'll do the little bits here as well. So put that down. Make it a bit bigger. Too big. Okay, there we go. Right, and there was something up there as well. Looked like it needed a bit of tidying. Okay, very good. Okay, save that. Saved. Okay, now if we run that again, run. Okay, so we can see that we have some issue there. What we'll do is resize this here that's being used as the source to match the one that's being used as a destination. So 3082 by 2031. So let's grab another node called upscale. So upscale image. So that now goes into there, and then that goes into the source like that. So it's bypassing via the upscale image. So 3082, 2031. Okay, now let's just see how that looks. Make it much larger. Okay, so that's much better. It's a little bit pixelated, so we can use a different resizing algorithm. So here we've got upscale method. The best one is Lanczos, and it's only a little bit slower. You will hardly even notice, so use that. So run. Okay, so that is a bit better. It's a little bit dithered, but it doesn't matter. Now, the next one, there is another hummingbird there, so I'm just going to change the prompt. So I don't want that one anymore. So let's just have just the plant name. Okay, very good. There's some plants, and now that bird is overlaid on that plant. Okay, and another thing, that image in the background is stretched. So there is an option here to use crop center. Let's try that again. Okay, that's a very large flower. Let's try another one. Okay, it's not stretching now. It's just cropping the image that's coming through. So we're just losing the top and the bottom there to fit the same ratio as that after it's been resized. Okay, so we can do more with this. I'm still not entirely happy with any of the backgrounds that are being generated yet, but let's just still go through and add another effect. I want to add a blur to the background, as if to add some depth to it. So over here, image, out, search for blur, image blur, and put image into there. So now we've got blur in between. I'm going to turn that up a little bit because I know 5 is a pretty good number for this. So run. Now the background is blurred. Okay, creates a bit of depth. Now I'm going to run just tests until I get a background that I like. Okay, I kind of like that background actually. I think that's starting to look pretty good. I think I could run another 20 or so and maybe get something a bit better, but I'll stick with that. Now, in order to stop generating new ones every time I press run, I'm just going to go over here to where the seed was. So that seed was randomized after generation. So if I just press Control Z, I'll get the old seed, and then I'll just make that fixed so it doesn't change. And now when I press run at any time, it's just going to use the same background. So it's not going to change anymore. Now, another thing we can do, if we look closely, there is still this gray edge around the bird here. You can see on the tail as well. We can add what's called a grow mask to the mask that we're outputting from this here. So get the mask, output, search for grow mask, and then that then goes into mask like so. And then if I just move that over there, then I can see what effect is happening. So just move up a few, like 3. And see what happens when I press run. Okay, let's try a bit more. 4. Okay, it's very subtle. 5, 6, and 7. Okay, there we go. So that makes the, well, bird fit a little bit better when you look at it from this distance, but still when you look at it close up, it's not so good. But anyway, that is Image Composite Mask, and there's a few extra little bits and pieces we can add to make that better, such as grow mask. We can blur the background and do an upscale as well to match the dimensions of the high res that we want to overlay. So there we go. Excellent.